What up, free bro? Salvation. Hey, you got many mansions. Think about salvation, get the danger. My flesh vain is my heart not trouble, I will pain. We trust in Abba, he the one that kill your problems. We thinking Abba, now we know about that lava. The streets of gold, walking on that road. I can't sell my soul, hell no. I'ma be the light everywhere I go. Ain't no vaccine up in the temple. The devil know that the most I dwelling in you. They trying to shoot you up, that should really offend you.
My cry for mercy as I call on you for help, as I lift up my hands towards your most holy place. I just wanna be worthy. I just wanna be wanna be.
Shalawam, shalawam. All praises be to the Most High YAHAWAH, the Ancient of Days, the Giver of Life, the Taker of Life, our Father, YAHAWAH Allah, our power, and His only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, who the world calls Jesus Christ in the English. Shalawam, shalom, peace and blessings to all of the Ahchyam, the Achwathyam out there in the world, scattered to the four corners of the earth, all of the brothers and sisters. We say shalawam, shalom, peace and blessings. The water for tuning in, for those that are tuned in and will tune in later, please do the ministry a favor and hit that like button, the subscribe and share button. Once again, the water, thank you for tuning in. And we just give praises to the Most High YAHAWAH for another day. We still here. For those that are tuned in, we are still here. We're still pushing forward. Today, I just wanted to speak a little bit about judgment, right? Understanding the judgment of YAHAWAH. And we're going to go into a few things. I'm going to show a video, and we're going to go into some scriptures. And hopefully this message through the Spirit, through the Rakah, will be very edifying. So let's dive right into it. You know me. Let's not hold back. Let's go into the scriptures. Before I actually dive into the scriptures, I want to show a quick video, and then we're going to dive right into the scriptures. Here we go. Once again, the water for those that are tuned in and will tune in. I'm going to play this video, and then we're going to dive right into scripture.
Then I saw a great white throne, and him who was seated on it. Earth and sky fled from his presence, and there was no place for them. And I saw the dead, great and small, standing before the throne, and books were opened. Another book was opened, which is the book of life. The dead were judged according to what they had done, as recorded in the books. The sea gave up the dead that were in it, and death and Hades gave up the dead that were in them, and each person was judged according to what he had done. Then death and Hades were thrown into the lake of fire. The lake of fire is the second death. If anyone's name was not found written in the book of life, he was thrown into the lake of fire. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away.
So clearly, right then and there, we seen a lot of people. We seen the books open, this thing that is called judgment. There's really nobody within the world that doesn't really know about judgment, or have never heard, should I say, let me rephrase that, have never heard of Judgment Day, I should so to say, Judgment Day, right? There's nobody in the world that has not heard of Judgment Day. Maybe infants, but as far as people. But let's dive into the scripture through the Spirit, through the Rakah, and let's see what the scriptures say. And we have to understand, as I'm about to read this, that the way we think and the way we process is not the same way that the Most High think or process and how he judges. So let's get into that. The book of Isaiah. Let's dive right into it. The book of Isaiah chapter 55 is where I'm going. Isaiah chapter 55, I'm going to start at verse 6. It says, seek ye Yahweh. So we need to seek him, seeking after him, following after him. While he may be found, call ye upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto Yahweh, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our power, for he will be abundantly pardoned. All praises be to the Father, that he will have mercy on us. Verse 8, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith Yahweh. So when it comes to this judgment that we read about, that we hear about, that I just showed the video about, Isaiah is relaying to us that our thoughts are not his thoughts. His ways are not our ways. So the way we may look at a situation or judge a situation may not be the same way that the Most High judges that situation, because his thoughts are not our thoughts. It says in verse 9, for as the Shemayim are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. So his thoughts and his ways are much more higher than ours. Verse 10 says, for as the rain come down and the snow from the Shemayim, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth and maketh it bring forth and bud, right? We just had a lot of rain out here in California, and now everything is green. It rained for like 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks straight. And everything is just super green right now, blossoming. You know, the grass, the flowers, things are just coming up. Why? Because it's saturated with that water. Snow too. That it may give seed to the sower and bread to the eater. Verse 11. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void. So anything that the Most High speaks, which he has, he has said a lot, and he has given us his word, it says it won't return void, meaning it has to happen. It has to accomplish the purpose that he sent it out. But it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. So whatever is going to happen, once the Most High said it, that's it. And the Most High said that it is going to be a judgment, and that has to be accomplished. And it goes all the way back. We know Genesis, the people there were judged, and that's where the flood came from. If you believe in the Bible, if you believe in the Holy Bible, the Kodash Bible, if you believe in the Most High and his only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahushai, do you believe in the flood? And he judged those people then. Now we know the second judgment, it has to do with fire. And he's going to send his only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahushai, Christ, the anointed one, to not only judge, but also take vengeance, right? And let's see where all this stems from. Let's go to the book of Exodus real quick. The book of Exodus. And I'm going to go to chapter 24. Exodus chapter 24. Let me blow it up as much as I can. It says the people affirm their covenant with the Most High, right? This is what's going on in this chapter. The people are affirming their covenant with the Most High. I'm going to start off at verse 3. You have not read this, I would encourage you to go back, read the whole book of Exodus. Don't just jump to chapter 24. Start at chapter 1 and read all the way through. Exodus 24:3. It says, and Moses came and told the people all the words of Yahweh and all his judgments, and all the judgments. And all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words which Yahweh have said, we will do. So the nation, the children of Israel, his people, Mashah, Moses, he came down and he told the people, the Most High, what? Judgments. And the people answered with one voice. They all agreed. And they said, all the words which Yahweh have said, we will do. Now, anybody who has read the Bible know that he presented the people with what? Life and death. This is what Moses presented the people with. Life, if you obey his words, commandments, statutes. Death, if you don't hearken or listen or obey his law, statutes, and commandments. Verse 4. And Moses wrote all the words of Yahweh and rose up early in the morning and built an altar under the hill and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Israel. So this covenant, this thing that they agreed to, life and death. Moses rose up early in the morning to make a sacrifice at this altar for who? According to the 12 tribes of Israel. And that's why he made what? 12 pillars. Wasn't 13, wasn't 14, wasn't 18, like 18 nations it wasn't that. It was 12 pillars. According to what? The 12 tribes of Israel. So this is who? This is 4. Let's keep reading. Verse 5. Let me put this up a little bit. Verse 5. And he sent young men of the children of Israel, which offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen unto Yahweh. Verse 6. And Moses took half of the blood and put it in a basin, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. So something is going on here. The people already agreed that whatever the Most High said, they was going to hearken, they was going to listen, they was going to obey. Now Moses is making an offering. He's sacrificing a peace offering. And also he took some of the blood and put it in the basin, and he sprinkled half of it on the altar. Verse 7. And he took the book of the covenant and read in the audience, right? This is what he's doing. He's reading the book of the covenant. So understand the book that you have, the Holy Bible, the Kodash Bible. Yes, it is a Bible. Biblios mean many books. But what is it? It's actually the book of what? The covenant. That's what it is. What you hold in your hand, what you read, is called the book of the covenant. You want to get technical? Some people say old covenant, new covenant. But that's what it is. You have a book of an old covenant and a new covenant. And he read it in the audience of all the people. And they said, once again, all that Yahweh have said, we will do and be obedient. That's what they said, the children of Israel. They said all that he said, will be obedient. Right? Verse 8. And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which Yahweh have made with you concerning all these words. So we see it's something here. It's a blood covenant. And we know that this covenant was presented to the children of Israel. And in it, it was what? Life and death. We know this, right? We get this in the book of Deuteronomy real quick. And in a lot of other places, but I'm going to just go here, right? 28, Deuteronomy 28 and 15, right? They said, we just read where they said that they were going to be obedient. That's what they said. All that the Most High have said, we will be obedient, right? We just read that Exodus 24 and 8. Here it is, Deuteronomy 28 and 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh, thy power, to observe to do all his commands and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So that's the punishment, the curses, right? And even if you still don't turn back to the Most High, you will receive a judgment as an individual person, right? It could be nations. And we're going to get into that a little bit later. For those that are tuned in, we're going to go somewhere now. We're going to go to the book of 2nd Baruch. For those who have it, please read along. If you do not have the book of 2nd Baruch, you can always Google it if you have your phone, laptop, something, right? It's the Apocrypha. So we're going to go to the book of 2nd Baruch, 2nd Baruch, chapter 15. We're going to be in here for a minute, so just bear with me. That's big as I can get it on the screen at this present time. I know it's a little small. I am going to read it. Just bear with me. Once again, 2nd Baruch, chapter 15, starting at verse 1. And I have to lean in a little bit myself too. It says, and Yahawah answered and said unto me, you are rightly astonished regarding the departure of man, but you have not judged well regarding the evils which will befall those who sin. And as regards what you have said, that the righteous are carried off and the impious or impious and are prospered. And as regards what you have said, man knows not your judgment. I'm trying to see right here if I can highlight that right there. Man knows not your judgment. So men don't understand the judgment of the Most High. Once again, already read in the book of Isaiah, chapter 55 on down. You can start at verse, I guess you can start at verse 6 and read all the way down. On this account here, I will speak to you and hearken, and I will cause you to hear my words. Man would not have rightly understood. Let me highlight this. I hope you can see it. I'm trying to highlight it. There you go. Verse chapter, basically 5. If you can see it on the screen, 5. It said, man would not rightly have understood my judgment unless he had accepted the law and I had instructed him in understanding. So the only way you can understand the Most High's judgment, as he's saying right here, is that I gave him what? My law. And then even after that, I had to instruct him in what? His understanding. Verse 6, but now because he transgressed, he sinned wittingly, just on this ground that he knows about, he shall be what? Tormented. That's what it says. He shall be what? Tormented. Verse 7. And as regards what you did say touching the righteous, that on account of them has this world come. So this world was created for the righteous. We know this. Matthew 5:5 and many other places. So also again shall that which is to come on their account. We know that the earth will be given back to who? The meek. For this world is to them strife and a labor with much trouble, and that accordingly, which is to come, a crown with great glory. So we get some understanding there. The reason the Most High gave us the Torah, as it says, the reason he gave us these things and gave us understanding is so we can understand him and where he's coming from. That's why it was so important for me to read in the book of Isaiah, chapter 55, 6 on down to like verse 11, that our thoughts are not his thoughts. His thoughts are much more higher than ours. His ways are much more higher than ours. Everything about the Most High is much more higher than we can ever even think, right? That we can ever even think. Let's continue on in this book, second book of Baruch, second book. I'm going to chapter 72 now. Let me hurry up and go on down because it's a lot. Chapter 72, is where I'm going. The second book of Baruch, chapter 72 is where I want to go. Chapter 56. Here we go. 73, I might be able to blow up a little bit more. So that'll be good, right? That'll be good. Shalawam chapter, man. Shalawam. All praises. The water for tuning in. This is the book of Second Baruch. Once again, chapter 73, starting at verse number 1. It says, here now also regarding the bright lightning, which is to come at the consummation after the black waters. This is the word. Verse 2. After the signs have come, of which were told before, when the nations become turbulent, and the time of who? The Messiah, Hamashiach, is come, he shall both summon all nations. So who is going to summon all nations? The Messiah, our brother. I'm going to highlight this. He's going to summon all nations, meaning all people. Listen what it says. He's going to summon all nations, and some of them he shall spare, and some of them he shall slay. So some of these nations of people, Hamashiach Yahushua, he's going to spare. And then other people, he's going to what? It says, slay them. Verse 3. These things therefore shall come upon the nations which are to be spared by him. Verse 4. Every nation which knows not Israel and has not trodden down the seed of Jacob. They have not trodden down the seed of Jacob. They didn't take advantage of Jacob. They didn't do anything wrong to Jacob. Every nation that has no part in Jacob's downfall, it says, shall indeed be spared. You can see it right here on the screen. When Hamashiach Yahushua comes back, any nation that did not take part in Jacob's downfall, Baruch is letting us know, which is Jeremiah's scribe, he is writing through the Spirit of the Most High, that those nations will be spared. But we know that these nations had a part. Verse 5. And this, because some out of every nation shall be subject to your people. So there will be groups. You know, I don't know how big or small the groups will be, but there will be groups of people out of every nation that will be subject to the children of Israel. We read this all throughout the Bible, right? This is what's being said when the Messiah comes back, when Hamashiach Yahushua comes back. It says in verse 5 again, and this because some out of every nation shall be subject to your people. Verse 6. But all those who have ruled, you see it right here, ruled over you or have known you shall be given up to the sword. This is judgment. This is the judgment that's cast upon the other nations. If they played a part, if they had any part of Jacob's downfall, any part of it, when the Messiah comes back, our brother, our friend, Hamashiach Yahushua, it says that those nations of people will be given up to what? The sword. Now we're going to go into chapter 73. Second Baruch, chapter 73. I think I can, let me try to, okay, I can make this one bigger. Cool. I can make this one a little bigger. This is chapter 73. Once again, Second Baruch, chapter 73. It says, and it shall come to pass when he is brought low, everything that is in the world, right? Remember, Hamashiach Yahushua, Christ the anointed one, every knee shall bow, right? So once he has brought everything low, every knee has bowed in this world, right? It says, and set down in peace for the age on the throne of his kingdom. What kingdom? Hamashiach Yahushua, Christ's kingdom here on earth. That joy shall then be revealed, and rest shall appear. This is what the kingdom is. This is what we're waiting on. And then healing shall descend as dew, and disease shall withdraw, and anxiety and anguish and lamentation pass from amongst men, and gladness proceed through the whole earth. So all of these disease, anxiety, lamentations, crying, sorrow, all of this stuff is leaving the earth. It's leaving the earth. Verse 3. And no one shall again die untimely, nor shall any adversity suddenly befall. Verse 4. And judgments and abusive talk, contentions, revenges, and blood and passions and envy and hatred, and whatsoever things are like these shall go into condemnation when they are what? Removed. When Hamashiach Yahushua comes back, all of these things will be removed out of the earth. Won't be any of this anymore. For it is these very things which have filled this world with evil. That's why the world is so evil now, because all of these things that he's speaking about are in the world. And on account of these, the life of man has been greatly troubled. Yeah, our lives are horrible. Either you're sick, you're going through this, you're going through that, always some adversity, bills. It's just a lot, that the average individual goes through. Verse 6, and wild beasts shall come from the forest and minister unto man. Asps and dragons shall come forth from their holes to submit themselves to the little child. And women shall no longer have pain when they bear. So now, for those that are still alive, right, that are living when Hamashiach Yahushua comes back, they won't have pain anymore when they give birth. That pain that a woman has now from what Eve did, that pain will be gone. No pain anymore. No suffering anymore. No screaming and hollering about your child. It says, nor shall they suffer torment when they yield their fruit of the womb. So even when a woman is having her flower, her cycle, right, as they do now, a lot of women are in pain, cramps, this and that and third. They won't have to deal with that aqua. The aqua will not have to deal with any pain when she bears her child and when she has her flower. Those things will be gone now. All joy. Those things are gone. Isn't this beautiful? This is a beautiful thing. So, let me see. Hopefully you guys can see this. I didn't mean to go out of that. Let me go back real quick. Hopefully you guys can see this, that this is what it's talking about. It's talking about judgment, and it's talking about the kingdom here on earth, and it's talking about when the Messiah comes and set up his kingdom here on earth. I actually want to go into the book of 2nd Ezra now. Salakia. Let me go to 2nd Ezra. Once again, the water for those tuning in. If you didn't pray this morning, please make sure you pray. Give praises to the Most High. Give glory to the Most High for waking you up this morning and allowing you to get your daily bread for those that are tuned in. This is the book of 2nd Ezra in the 1611 King James Bible. Chapter 7. You can see it on the screen. And I'm going to go down and I'm going to start to read from verse 7. And it says, the interest, therefore, is narrow. Actually, let me see. I'll start at 6 so you can get the context. There's also another thing. For those who don't know, this is the prophet Ezra, the priest Ezra, right? Speaking to a malak. For those who don't know what the word malak means, in English, you would say an angel. They're having dialect. They're having conversation back and forth through the spirit, right? So it says right here in verse 6, 7 and 6, there is also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field, and it's full of all good things. This city is the kingdom. This is a parable. The interest thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall. Like if there was fire on the right hand and on the left, a deep water. Now, where's this dangerous place? This dangerous place is the earth that we live in. The earth that we live in, the earth that we know it today, is this dangerous place. But we have to go through this because this is the entrance. It says the entrance, therefore, is narrow and it is set in a dangerous place. So the entrance of where we need to get into the kingdom is set here, but it's in a dangerous place here on this earth. Verse 8. And one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. So the entrance is so narrow, it's so small. Once again, one man can only go one at a time. If this city now, let me put it up, Salakia. If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, right? This is your inheritance, the kingdom. If he will never, Salakia, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? And I said, it is so, master. Then said he unto me, even so also is Israel's portion. This is your portion, Israel. This is what you have to go to or go through, Salakia, verse 11. Because for their sakes I made the world. So the Most High is letting Ezra know through this Malak, through the Spirit, through the Rakah, that he made the world that you live in today. For who? Israel's sake. And when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now is done. So when Adam sinned, all of this evil, wickedness, anxiety, murder, strife, all of these things entered into the world. Verse 12, and then were the entrances of this world made narrow, full of sorrow, travail. They are but few and evil, full of perils and very painful. For the entrance of the elder world were wide and sure and brought immortal fruit. Verse 14, if then they that live labor not to enter these straight and vain things, they can never receive those things that are laid up for them. So this is why we have to fight the good fight, as Paul said, right? We have to be obedient. We have to be Quadash, because then you won't get your inheritance. You won't get the kingdom. And as I played the video when we first started off, your name won't be written in the book. Let me see. Your name won't be written in the book. There may be some that missed that. So I'll go back to it real quick. It's not going to be long. Let's go back to it real quick. Right, here it is.
Then I saw a great white throne, and him who was seated on it. Earth and sky fled from his presence, and there was no place for them. And I saw the dead, great and small, standing before the throne, and books were opened. Another book was opened, which is the book of life. The dead were judged according to what they had done, as recorded in the books. The sea gave up the dead that were in it, and death and Hades gave up the dead that were in them. And each person was judged according to what he had done. Then,
now, that's the same thing that's in the New Testament, right? I don't want you to think this is something new. It's nothing new. Let's get this real quick that Paul speaks about in the New Testament. Let's go to 2 Corinthians real quick. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 10. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Hamashiach, that everyone may receive the things done in his body according to that he have done, whether it be good or bad. Knowing therefore the terror of the Most High, we persuade man, but are made manifest unto the Most High. And I trust also are made manifest in your conscience, right? So Paul is speaking about the judgment. And he's saying this is, this is why the terror of the Most High, this is why we try to persuade man. That's what this video is about, right? But he's telling you in verse 10 that we must all appear before the judgment seat of Hamashiach Yahushua, all of us. Doesn't matter what you did. It said whether it be good or bad. Is not that what the same thing that the video just said? The video just said the same thing. Let me put it again. The video just said the same thing. So it's definitely not lying, right? Here it is. It's definitely not lying.
Earth and sky fled from his presence, and there was no place for them. And I saw the dead, great and small, standing before the throne, and books were opened. Another book was opened, which is the book of life. The dead were judged according to what they had done as recorded in the books. The sea gave up the dead that were in it, and death and Hades gave up the dead that were in them. And each person was judged according to what he had done. Then death and Hades were thrown into the lake of fire. The lake of fire is the second death.
So that exact thing is what Paul is talking about right here in Shalawam, Achwathyam. Shalawam, the water for tuning in. It may be a little delay, and I apologize for that. I don't know why it's a little delay, but we just put this on the screen real quick. This is the same thing Paul is talking about right here for those who have that understanding, 2 Corinthians 5 and 10, and many other places in the Bible, right? The judgment seat of Hamashiach, whether it be good or bad. That's what's being spoken about right here, right? Same thing in Ezra. What a beautiful thing that we're able to get this understanding, and that these things were left for us, right? Let's go back to 2nd Ezra and finish this up, right? I stopped at 14. Now I'm not going to read this whole thing because it's a very long book, but I do want to jump down to verse 56. So if you will, turn with me or go down to 56, chapter 7, 2nd Ezra, chapter 7, verse 56. It says, "For while we live and committed iniquity, we consider not that we should begin to suffer for it after death. Then answered he me and said," who is this? This is once again Ezra and the Malak speaking. "This is the condition of the battle which man that is born upon earth shall fight. That if he be overcome, he shall suffer, as thou hast said. But if he get the victory, he shall receive the thing that I say." Verse 59. "For this is the life whereof Moses spake unto the people while he lived, saying, Choose life that thou mayest live." Now I went into that a little earlier, back in the book of Exodus, chapter 24. When he took the blood, he came down, he asked the people, they said, all that the Most High Yahweh said, we will do and be obedient. He took the blood, put some on the altar, put some on the people. They entered into a covenant. Verse 60 says, "Nevertheless, they believe not him, nor yet the prophets after him, nor me, which have spoken unto them." Here it is. This is the crazy part. Verse 61, "That there should not be such heaviness in their destruction." So nobody's really going to be sad. The Malaks, the Most High, Hamashiach Yahweh, nobody is going to be in heaviness for their destruction. "As shall be joy over them that are persuaded to salvation." That's what Paul was speaking about in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 10. Once again, the judgment seat of Hamashiach. Paul said right after that, "Therefore we persuade men." We persuade. Ezra with the Malak, is basically saying the same exact thing. And it shall be joy over them that are persuaded to salvation. You have to understand this. Let me see if it's still a delay. Now, one thing I want to say real quick, a lot of people don't know, and I'm not sure, you know, I can only assume, but some people, I'll just say some people, may not know that the judgment was actually created first. Before the world, before we were created, before all these things were created, don't get me wrong, Hamashiach Yahushai was created first. Let me make this clear. Hamashiach Yahushai was created first. But in that, Hamashiach Yahushai created the judgment from the Most High, right? Let's get that in the book of 2nd Ezra. Once again, I'm going to 2nd Ezra. This is where you can find it. Now let's read this. 2nd Ezra, chapter 7, verse 65. It's sharing on the screen. Hopefully you can see it. 2nd Ezra, chapter 7, verse 65, right? As we go into this, let's take our time. Verse 65, it says, let the human race lament, but let the beasts of the field be glad. Let all who have been born lament, but let the four-footed beasts and the flocks rejoice and be bountiful, because he would rather give, Salaki, he would rather give than take away. Verse 66. For it is much better with them than with us. So the four-footed beasts, cats, dogs, beasts, oxen, all these things he's saying, it is much better with them than it is with us. Right? Let me highlight this. For they do not look for a judgment like we do. We look for a judgment. We know about the judgment. But four-footed beasts and animals, they don't look for a judgment, nor do they know of any torment or salvation promised to them after death, and abundant in compassion, because he makes his compassions abound more and more to those now living, and to those who are gone, and to those yet to come. Verse 67, for what does it profit us that we shall be preserved alive, but cruelly tormented? What is it going to profit you that you're going to be preserved, but then you're going to be tormented after you leave this earth, after you go to sleep? I don't want to say die, because you never really die. That's a false perception in our mind and in this world that we actually die. You don't die. We can never die. You just go to sleep. Hamashiach Yahushai gave us that knowledge when he was speaking about Lazarus and him being asleep. For if he did not make them abound, the world with those who inhabit it would not have life. Verse 68. For all who have been born are involved in iniquities. So everybody that's born out of the woman's womb are involved in some type of sin, which that's what iniquity is, lawlessness, sin. And all are full of sins and burdens with transgressions, with sins. So everybody that we see in this world that we see, that we go out into, billions of people, know all of these people are burdened with what? Sins. And he is called giver, because if he did not give out of his goodness, so that those who have committed iniquities might be relieved of them, not 1/10,000 of mankind could have life. Verse 69. And if we were not to come into judgment after death, perhaps it says, it would have been better for us and judge, because if he did not pardon those who were created by his word and blot out the multitude of sins, he answered me and said, when the Most High made the world and Adam and all who have come from him, he first prepared the judgment. Let me highlight all this. This is in verse 70, right? I want you to get this so this could be known. He answered me and said, remember, this is Ezra, the prophet, the priest, the Levite, same one that helped build the temple up when King Cyrus gave the command, right, from the Most High to send the people back and build up the temple again. Same Ezra. He's having a conversation with who? A Malak, an angel in the English, you would so to say. And within that, this Malak is letting Ezra know when the Most High made the world and Adam and all who have come from him, it says he first prepared the judgment and the things that pertain to the judgment. There would probably be left only very few of the innumerable multitude. And we know that it's only going to be few. We know this. It's only going. It says it's a great multitude within this earth, but there's only going to be few that will be saved and make it into the kingdom. But I just wanted you to see that he prepared the judgment first. So that's why everything is predestined when we read Ephesians and all of these other different epistles and things like that. Even when we read, even the Old Testament. That's why Hamashiach Yahushua, when he came, he said, no, it has to be like this. Just like with John the Baptist, he said, no, you should baptize me. He said, no, it has to be like this. Everything has to go the way the Most High wants to go, because he has predestined everything ahead of time. The judgment was prepared first. Verse 71. And now understand from your own words, for you have said that the mind grows with us. The mind grows with us. A lot of you didn't know the law, statute, and commandments. Like Paul said, I was alive once without the law, statute, and commandments. But now, so your mind continues to grow as long as you live. Verse 72, for this reason, therefore, those who dwell on the earth shall be tormented. Notice what it says. I'll highlight all of this. Verse 72, for this reason, therefore, those who dwell on the earth shall be tormented, because though they had understanding, they committed iniquity, sin, lawlessness. This is why those individuals, us, we, whoever, because you don't know you're going to make it, you got to endure to the end. This is why we will be tormented. This is why. It says, because though they had understanding, they committed iniquity, they committed sin. And though they received the commandments, they did not keep them. And though they obtained the law, they dealt unfaithfully with what they had received, or what they received. Verse 73. What then will they have to say in the judgment? What can you say in the judgment when you know the law, statute, and commandments? I'm not talking about the people who don't believe. I'm not talking about the ones who are not awakened. I'm not talking about the ones who don't know. He is speaking about the ones who know. This is why it says, what will you say then? What were you going to say? Or how will they answer in the last times? That's a question mark right there. You can see it on the screen. It's a question mark. 74. For how long, Salakia, for how long the time is that the Most High has been patient with those who inhabit the world, and not for their sake, but because of the times which he has foreordained. Everything is already ordained, predestined. The judgment, all of that, already done and over with. That was one of the first things he did, was the judgment. I read to you in 2nd Baruch about the nations, about the people, about all of this stuff. So Hamashiach Yahawashi, they already know. That's why it's so important when you read the book of 2nd Ezra and it goes into these questions and answers with this Malak. He lets them know, and he gives them a parable for those who do know about a woman that's pregnant. And he asks Ezra, can a woman that's pregnant, when she comes to her time of 9 months, can the baby just stay in there another 3 or 4 months? No. Ezra said the baby got to come out. He says, so is the same thing of what they would call Hades or Gehenna in the Hebrew. You may say hell in English, the place where the souls rest. The Malak told Ezra, when the number is complete, because everything is weighed in the balance, when the number is complete, that's when everything will open up. So there's a number. They already totaled. It's already gathered. It's already total. They already know how many people are going to go in the kingdom. They already know how many people are going to go into the lake of fire. Everything is already predestined and foreordained in the judgment. That's why it says it's nothing you did when it comes to the grace that's extended through Hamashiach Yahawashi. It's nothing you did. Hamashiach Yahawashi and the Father did it. Verse 75. And I answered and said, if I have found favor in thy sight, let me highlight it so you can know where I'm at. Once again, I'm in 75. If I have found favor in thy sight, O Master, show this also to thy servant, whether after death, as soon as every one of us yields up his rakah, his soul, we shall be kept in rest until those times come, when thou wilt renew the creation, or whether we shall be tormented at once. So Ezra wants to know, hey, as soon as you die, are you going to be tormented? Are we going to have a time? Like, what's going on? What's going to happen as soon as we die? Now, I'm not going to read this whole thing because it's going into, what happens after you die. And we were really speaking about the judgment. But if you would like to go back and read it for yourself, all praises to the Most High. 76 says, and he answered me and said, I will show you that also. But do not be associated with those who have shown scorn, nor number yourself among those who are tormented. Verse 77. For you have treasure of works laid up with the Most High, but it will not be shown to you until the last times. Beautiful thing. I mean, that this Malak is telling Ezra, hey, you got works, you got treasure stored up, man. Don't look at yourself as you're going to be going into torment and things like that. Like, I'm letting you know you got treasure stored up. Don't worry about the judgment. Don't worry about none of that. Verse 78, all praises to the Most High for that. Verse 78, now concerning death, the teaching is when the decisive decree has gone forth from the Most High that a man shall die. So like I always say, nobody just dies. Nobody just passes away. Oh, they got into a car accident. Oh, this happened. Oh, they drowned. Or, listen, the decree has to come from the Most High. Nobody can just die. You die that day, it's because the Most High gave a decree, hey, today you're going to die. Now, the way you're going to die, we have no idea. But the Most High gives the decree. When a man shall die, as the spirit leaves the body to return again to him who gave it, first, the first thing that happens when you die, it says, the first thing that happens is what it shall what? Adore the glory of the Most High. That's one of the first things that you're going to adore, the glory of the Most High. 79. I'm end up reading. Okay, I might stop after this because it says, and if it is one of those who have shown scorn and have not kept the way of the Most High, and who have despised his law, and who have hated those who fear the Most High. Verse 80. Such spirits, Salakia, such spirits shall not enter into the inhabitants, but shall immediately wander about in torments, ever grieving and sad in 7 ways, right? And then it's going to list the ways that you know that they're going to be wandering in torment and things like that. I'm not going to get into all that. Like I said, if you want to go back and read it for yourself, all praises to the Most High. But one thing we have to understand from reading this is what? That the judgment was created first. And that's a beautiful thing. To know that you were predestined to walk through this journey here on this earth, to be a pilgrim in this earth. Let's get this real quick. We got the Achwathyam, chapter man says Selah Khan. I didn't see this. It says, question, is the Bible as we know it today the direct word of the Most High? Yes, it is. Khan. Let me show you that. Since you had a question. If you don't have faith, let me say this first. Hebrews 11:1. If you don't have faith and you have doubt, then you will never believe in the Most High. You never believe in Hamashiach Yahushua, right? You just won't. You have to have faith. And if you don't have faith that this is the word of the Most High, then, you know, hey, that's on you. I can't make you believe it, you know. It says right here, 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 16, all scripture is given by inspiration of the Most High, okay? And it's profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instructions in righteousness, right? So yes, I believe, and I'm pretty sure every other brother out there that believes in Hamashiach Yahushua, believes in the Most High Yahawah, we all believe that, yes, it is the word of the Most High. So hopefully that answers your question. Yes, we do believe that. I'm not sure of the name. The Malachium, Khan. I see the Malachium, all praises to the Most High. It says, shalom to my brothers and sisters, which all are the Ahchyam and Achwathyam. All praises for tuning in. The water for tuning in, right? We got another one that says, chapter man says, all praises. And then the other brother says something right here. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse, he put 39. This think is 39. So now that even I am he, and there is no power with me. Or you could say other power source, because that's what he's basically saying, with me. I kill, I make alive, I wound, I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. Khan. All praises to the Most High, right? And then we have Hebrews 11 and 6 King James versions. But without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is. Khan. And this is what I was saying when the brother asked that question. This one right here, I'm pretty sure, because you know they dine and dash, so to say. They're probably still not in the live. But if you are, I just read it, 2 Timothy 3 and 16. And thank you to the other Ak that put it out there. You got to have faith, right? You don't have faith, then you won't understand this. Let's get it on the screen real quick. Let me go back real quick. You got to have faith. And I already said it, but I'm going to just go back and read it. Right? So all scripture. So yes, we believe that. Hebrews 11, right? Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So no, I didn't see them create the Bible. I didn't see Paul sit down and write his epistles. I didn't see Peter sit down and write. I didn't see Hamashiach Yahawashi, Christ the anointed one, walk the earth. No, I didn't see these things. I didn't see them. So if you want me to say, oh, 100% certainty, like, yeah, John wrote that. 100% certainty, no doubt, no nothing. I can say that because I have faith. And I believe that the Most High controls everything, right? Like it says, the evidence of things not seen. And since I believe in the Most High, I believe in his only begotten son, Hamashiach Yahawashi, as the book of Jeremiah is telling me. Is it 32? Let me see. This is Jeremiah 32 and 26. It says, then came the word of Yahweh unto Jeremiah, saying, behold, I am Yahweh, the power of all flesh. The power of all flesh. See, so I believe that my father, my Abba Nawa Yahweh, right? He is the power over all flesh. No man on this earth has power over all flesh. But my father, Yahweh, he has power over all flesh. So if this was left for me, and let me just say this, through the spirit, we know that these things are true because our spirit is bearing witness. Our Rakah is bearing witness. So I'm sorry, Ak, if you don't understand this or you don't really get that, you know. But here in Jeremiah 32 and 27, it says, behold, I am Yahweh, the power of all flesh. Is there anything too hard for me? And what you saying is something is too hard for the Most High. Oh, is the Bible really written from the word of the? Yeah, it is. Is anything too hard? I just read in Isaiah 55, 6 on down. Your thoughts are not his thoughts. Your ways are not his ways. You can't understand the Most High. You just can't. So nothing is too hard for the Most High Yahweh. So yes, I 100% believe that the word that we have, the Holy Bible, the Kodash Bible, is the word of the Most High, the ancient days, the giver of life, the taker of life. Hopefully that answers your question, right? Now back to this judgment. Don't run from it. Don't run from the judgment. The other the Malachian put Romans 10 and 17. So then with faith come what? By hearing, and hearing by the word of the Most High. All praises be to the Father. Con. Romans 8 and 16. Con. The Spirit itself bear witness. Con. I mean, this is what I'm saying. When you ask a question like this, whoever this was, when you ask a question like that, it says, question, is the Bible as we know it today the direct words of the Most High? Right? What does that say? Right then and there, that's doubt. Don't you know doubt is a sin? You're doubting the very word of the Most High, saying that some man can corrupt the Bible. Some man can corrupt the word of the Most High. And even if they did, you know what's the beautiful thing about it? Even if they did, this is the beautiful thing about the Most High Yahweh. Watch this. Watch this. Even if they did, the Most High already lets us know, us as believers, don't worry about that. I got your back. You know why? Because he is our Father. I got your back. Don't worry about it. If they did it, I got it. I'm going to take care of it. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 22. Let me get it. Let me see. Hold on. I'm just looking for it. Oh, here it is right here. Revelation 22:18. For I testify unto you, every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book. If any man shall add unto these things, with the question he's asking, if somebody gonna add to these things, the Most High shall add unto them what? The plagues that are written in this book. So I'm not concerned about it. If somebody did come along at a later time and add something, that's not your issue. You're taking on something that you can't handle, that you can't even take care of. So why are you concerned about that? The Most High, through Hamashiach Yahushua, really this is written from the Torah. They're just reiterating it, right? Same thing in the Torah. But the Most High, through Hamashiach Yahushua, through the Spirit, and John is relaying this to us. Don't worry about it. If somebody add, the plagues that are written in this book will be given to them. Verse 19, and if any man shall take away, right? If somebody take away the words out of this book, of this prophecy, the Most High shall take away his part out of the book of life and out of the Quadash city and from the things which are written in this book. So, stop worrying about stuff that, don't worry about that. Just believe in the Abba, believe in his only begotten son, Hamashiach Yahushua, do the work, do the will of the Abba, and leave that all to the side. He got that. He got that. Let me get another one real quick before I move on. Let me get one more. Let's go to the book of Sirach real quick, or better known as the book of Ecclesiasticus. Let me slow down because sometimes they say, hey, you be moving too fast. So this is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 3, or better known as the book of Sirach, or Sirach, however you say it. Chapter 3, and I'm going to jump down to verse 21, right? Here it is. You can see it on the screen, hopefully. 21. Seek not out things that are too hard for thee, neither search the things that are above thy strength. You worried about things that you have no control over. You can't go back 2,000 years ago when they was alive and they were writing these epistles and these letters. You can't see. So are you going to focus on that, or are you going to focus on the words that were written 2,000 years ago for your learning? Which one you going to focus on? Maybe you just don't want to believe in the Bible. Maybe you don't want to believe in the judgment. 22, it says, but what is commanded thee? Worry about that. Think thereupon with reverence. For it is not needful for thee to see with thine eyes the things that are secret. Be not curious in unnecessary matters. Why are you curious in things that you don't have no control over, no power over, nothing you can do about it? The Bible tells us don't be curious in that stuff. I'm not worried about it. If somebody added, Yahawashi got it. If somebody took away, Yahawashi got it. I'm not going to step in his boots. I'm not going to step in his sandals and take that on upon me and try to go out and do something. No. Didn't he say every knee shall bow? He got it. That's why he's coming back. That's why he's our king. Look to him. Be not curious in unnecessary matters, for more things are showed unto thee than man understand. Verse 24, for many are deceived by their own vain opinion. So if that's your opinion, that you don't believe that the Bible is the word of the Most High, that's your own vain opinion. And the Bible lets us know that many are deceived by their own vain opinion. And that evil suspicion, maybe you suspect that something was added, or maybe you suspect that something was taken away. An evil suspicion had overthrown their judgment, and without eyes they shall want light. Profess not the knowledge, therefore, that thou hast not. So hopefully that answers your question, because you had the question. So hopefully that answers your question. But we believe in the Quadash Bible, the Holy Bible, our Father Yahweh, the Ancient of Days, and his only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahushua, who the world in English would say Jesus Christ. Hopefully that answers your question. And once again, the water for the Malachium, putting up all of these beautiful posts in the chat, right? Romans 10 and 17, I believe. So then faith coming by hearing. I think I said that one. The spirit is bearing witness. Con. Charlie Freeman, those last two scriptures were for you. Con. It says that the master don't ever have to talk to you directly if he don't want to. That's why he wasn't. That's Salakia. That's why he has servants. He sits in his throne or on his throne and don't move one bit. Con. All praises be to the Father. Right. Revelation 21, unbelievers. Right. That's what basically when you have doubt like that and you make comments like that and you ask questions like that, that's what that is. That's doubt. And doubt is a sin. Doubt is unbelief. Doubt is not having faith. And in order to believe in the Most High, in order to believe in Hamashiach Yahushai, who, like I say, the world in English says Jesus Christ, in order to believe in Hamashiach Christ, the anointed one, you have to have faith. That's the first thing it says. Hebrews 11 and 1. And it's a substance, right? We hope for that, for being resurrected, but also it's a substance of things unseen. No, I have not seen him. No, I was not there when they compiled the Bible and put it together. I wasn't there, but I have faith that it is the word of the Most High. And I'm willing to sacrifice this life that I'm living now for a greater life at a later time. And the reason I know this and that it is true is because my spirit is bearing witness. Like the Ak put in the chat, my Rakah is bearing witness to this. I don't have to prove it to you. I know what I go through in my Rakah, in this body, day and night. I know what the spirit relays to me in my mind. So I don't have to prove it to you. If you don't believe it, okay. I'm not here to make you believe it. All I'm here to do is bring forth the word. The Most High will bring it to you and open up your understanding. That's why the Bible says, for those who have an ear to hear, please hear. And those who have an eye to see, please see. But then you have people that have eyes and cannot see. You have people that have ears but cannot hear. So once again, like I say, hopefully that helps you, you know. Hopefully that helps you. All praises be to the Most High. Con, fire. Chapter man, con, all praises. So let's go back real quick and get ready to wrap this up. Let me play that video one more time. So those that may be coming in late, those that don't know, this is what was brought out in the beginning. And this is what the whole lesson was about, right? This judgment. And then we're going to get ready to wrap it up.
Then I saw a great white throne, and him who was seated on it. Earth and sky fled from his presence, and there was no place for them. And I saw the dead, great and small, standing before the throne, and books were opened. Another book was opened, which is the book of life. The dead were judged according to what they had done, as recorded in the books. The sea gave up the dead that were in it, and death and Hades gave up the dead that were in them. And each person was judged according to what he had done. Then death and Hades were thrown into the lake of fire. The lake of fire is the second death.
So that's what we're talking about, right? So let's get that, what Paul brought up, and then we'll go to Peter, and then we'll get ready to wrap it up, right? It ain't got to be a long one, right? It ain't got to be a long one. Once again, here it is, 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 10, right? For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Hamashiach, that everyone may receive the things done in his body, according to what he have done. According to that he have done, whether it be what? Good or bad. Verse 11, knowing therefore the terror of the Most High, we persuade men. We persuade men. That's what we do here. The same thing they were doing 2,000 plus years ago is the same thing we're doing here. And if you feel that that's wrong, I'm sorry, y'all. Peter speaks about the same thing. Let's go there real quick. 1 Peter chapter 4. 1 Peter chapter 4. I just go straight to the meat of it, right? 17. For the time has come that judgment, right? That's what the whole Bible is speaking about. We know from Genesis that there was a judgment, and then from Exodus on down, all the way to the book of Revelation, it is speaking about what? A judgment. And Peter is telling us, for the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of the Most High. And if it is to begin first with us, right? What Peter is saying, if this is supposed to begin first with us, what should the end be of them that obey not the gospel? That obey not the gospel. And if the righteous one should scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? Right? Wherefore let them that suffer according to the will of the Most High commit the keeping of their souls to him in well-doing, as unto who? A faithful creator. So this is why we give praises, honor, glory, esteem to the Most High Yahawah, the Ancient of Days, the giver of life, the taker of life. And that's why a lot of people, they scared to go to the book of Revelation. A lot of people won't even watch this message. They're scared to know what the truth is in the book of Revelations. I've had people tell me, oh, I don't read the book of Revelation. You know, I read the rest of the Bible, but Revelation, oh no, I'm scared to read that. Why? This is what's going to happen. Revelation 11, the judgment, the same thing that showed in the video. And I saw the great white throne and him that sat on it. The same thing it said in the video is the same thing it says right here, Revelation 20. So you can't run from it. You can't get away from it. It's right here. And this is the judgment of who? The Most High Yahawah. And in order to understand his judgment, this is why he gave us his law, statute, and commandments. This is exactly why. He says, because I read it earlier in the book of 2nd Baruch. For those who, who was here, he said the only reason that he gave us this was so we can have the understanding. And we know this. Even in the book of Deuteronomy, it tells us this, Deuteronomy 4. This is the last one, and I'll wrap up. Deuteronomy 4, right? Let me see. Deuteronomy 4 and 6. It says, keep therefore and do them. Actually, I'll go up. Let me go up. Verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes, judgment, even as Yahawah by power commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whether you go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your what? Wisdom. You didn't have no wisdom until the Most High gave it to you. And your understanding in the sight of all nations, which is all people, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great people is a wise and understanding people. For what people, because nations mean people, is there so great who have the Most High so nigh, near unto them as Yahawah? Our power is in all things that we call upon him for. And what people is there so great that have statutes and judgments so righteous? So these things are so righteous as this law, which I set before thee, or set before you this day. Only take heed to thyself and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget these, Salakia, lest thou forget the things which thy eyes have seen, and lest they depart from thy heart all the days of thy life. But teach them thy sons and thy sons' sons. So once again, hopefully this message was edifying. Hopefully I answered all of the questions that were brought forth. Once again, the water for the Ak, the Malachium, putting all of those precepts, all of those things in the chat. Like I say, I think the other guy who, the Ak that put the comment in the chat, I think he kind of like dined and dashed. He didn't really want the answer because, you know, he didn't stick around. But once again, the water for the Malak putting that stuff in the chat, greatly appreciated. If that Ak happened to come back to see this, we definitely answer this question. And you know, hopefully this message was edifying. This is why we do what we do. Hopefully it was edifying. With that being said, hopefully, you know, you get some understanding from this about the judgment, especially the one in 2nd Ezra that I read, 7 and 65 on down, and it go to like 105, right? 2nd Ezra chapter 7, I think it go to like, man, it got like 105, 107 verses in there. So just know that the judgment was created first. Ooh, let me do this one and I'll close out. Let's go to the book of Ephesians real quick. As we are closing out Ephesians, and we'll just do chapter 1, right? To know that the judgment was one of the first things that was created. And we have to know that everything is predestined. Let's get this right here. Ephesians chapter 1, verse 4. According as he hath chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, right? This is why the judgment was created first. According as he has chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, before the world was even brought forth, he had already did the judgment. That we should be quadash and without blame before him in love, having predestinated us. We were already predestined. You had to be predestined because he did the judgment first. So he knew, okay, I'm going to put you on this side. This one go on this side. This one go on the left side. This one go on the right side. This one is mine. This one is, you know, he knew, having predestinated us unto the adoption of children by YAHAWAH HaMashiach to himself. He already knew that all of this had to happen to make our way back to him through his only begotten son, HaMashiach YAHAWAH, according to the good pleasure of his will, to the praise of the glory of his grace, wherein he have made us accepted in the beloved, in whom, verse 7, Salakia, man, this is powerful, in whom we have redemption through his blood, who, Hamashiach, Christ, the anointed one, the forgiveness of sins through his blood, according to the riches of his grace. It's his, it's nothing you did. Wherein he have abounded towards us in all wisdom and prudence, having made known. See, some people will watch this and they can't understand it. But then others will watch it and say, man, that was powerful. You know why? Because he's made known unto us the mystery. The mystery. This is Ephesians 1 and 9, having made known unto us the mystery of his will, according to his good pleasure, which he have proposed in himself. That in the dispensation of the fullness of times, he might gather together in one all things in Hamashiach, Christ, both which are in the Shemayim and which are on the earth, even in him, in whom also have obtained an inheritance. Remember, we spoke about all this earlier, the inheritance, the kingdom, all these things we spoke about earlier. Being predestinated according to the purpose of him who worketh all things after the counsel of his own will, that we should be to the praise of his glory, who first trusted in Hamashiach. I'm going to stop right there because I just keep going. Once again, the water for all those tuned in, man. This was a beautiful, beautiful lesson. Thank you for tuning in. Let's give all praises to the Most High Yahweh through the Spirit. It's only Him that allows this to happen. The Spirit, the Rakah, He woke us up. He gave us life. He's doing all these things in this earth. We just say the water Abba, call Allah Yahweh, Ba Shama Mashiach Yahweh Shai, the water Abba Nawi Yahweh, Allah Yah, Allah Yah, Allah Yah, call Allah Yahweh, call Allah Yahweh. I'm a wow, man. I mean, just powerful. Chapter man said, Khan. Then he also says the water chapter man. The Aqua Dorothy, she says, Shalom. I watched the replay since I came in late. Khan. Please do so. And let us know, if it's anything that you think could be added, if you anything that that we need to talk about, anything, just let it be known, chapter man, get a praise hand. So with that being said, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. Once again, hopefully this message was edifying. It brought something to stir their spirit up. And remember, for those that didn't know, the judgment was created first. I read that 2nd Ezra 7:65, like I say, all the way down to like 107. But then it starts to go into like what happens after death and things like that. So that's why we predestined. That's why you have to have the understanding of the Most High judgment, because He gave us the law. He gave us His word. But like He said, we're stiff-necked, we're hard-headed, and we despise His word. We don't want it. Like Isaiah, we want smooth things. But all praises be to the Father. Chapter man says shalom. So with that being said, I said shalawam, shalom, peace and blessings to all of the Ahchyam, all of the Achwathyam, brothers and sisters scattered to the four corners of the earth. And may this message go out, man, and cover everybody. Hit that like button, that share, and that subscribe. And I'll see you on the Shabbat day, Yahweh willing, 12 o'clock. Until then, shalawam and Kwam Yasharallah.